Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you're new here, my name is Leah and most of my videos are focused on unsolved crimes and mysteries. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about the Delphi murders, Richard Allen. And I'm not going to do a full cover of the story because it's already been done so many times. But I am gonna go over my thoughts and my theories, and I would really love to know what you think as well. So if you're ready, let's do this. Today we're gonna be talking about two beautiful young girls from Delphi, Indiana, that had their lives brutally taken from them. We are talking about two very best friends, 14-year-old Liberty German, also known as Libby, and her very best friend, 13-year-old Abigail Williamson, also known as Abby. Libby was a very loving and caring girl, and she was so close with her family. She was so funny and had a lot of humor, and she was the kind of girl that would just light up the room when she came in. She was a sports girl and she loved all kinds of sports, such as swimming, soccer, and volleyball. Abby was also a very sweet, loving, and caring girl and was also very close to her family. She loved music and she actually played the saxophone. She was also an outdoors kind of girl and she loved nature, hikes, and bogs. She was full of energy and would spend so much time with her family. That was when she wasn't with Libby. Those two girls, they did everything together. They were inseparable. Monday, the 13th of February 2017, the girls had had a sleepover in Libby's house. In the night before, they had spent the night in Libby's room painting and doing art crafts, having fun like normal teenage girls. They eventually went to bed, and when they woke up in the morning, they went to have some pancakes for breakfast and told Libby's sister Kelsey that they really wanted to go and hang out by the Monon High Bridge. Libby's sister Kelsey told them that she could drive them there, but she had plans later that day, so they would have to find someone that could pick them up. Libby's dad Derek told them that he would actually be able to pick them up at 3:15 p.m., so that was the plan. Kelsey drove the girls to the trail and watched Abby and Libby walk towards the Monon High Bridge, and then she drove off. The girls were walking on the trail and had so much fun and really enjoying the outside. It was a very warm winter day. They walked on the bridge and Libby took some pictures of Abby with her mobile phone and she posted them on Snapchat at 2:07 p.m. At some point, Libby noticed a man coming on the bridge and walking towards them. She felt something about this guy was completely off because normally people they never walk on that bridge. So she decided to video record him. He had his head down and both hands in his pocket and was dressed like he was freezing. He had a hat on, a big blue winter jacket, jeans and boots. And when he got close to the girls, he ordered them to walk down the hill. According to the police, Libby recorded 43 seconds on her phone, and they can hear one of the girls saying gun, and then they hear something that sounds like a gun being racked. Only 3 or 4 seconds of the recording has been released to the public to help find this guy. They don't want to release the rest of the recording because it was too disturbing. Derek, Libby's dad, called her at 3:11 p.m. to let her know he was passing the Wilson Bridge and was ready to pick them up. But Libby, she didn't pick up her phone. A few minutes later, he tried to call her again, but he still didn't get an answer. He arrived to the area and went out looking for them, but no luck. He called home to let the family know that he couldn't find the girls, and they actually thought the girls might be lost or maybe they lost their phones, and something happened and they couldn't find their way out, so they went out there to look for them. They didn't find them, and at 5:30 p.m. they called the police to report the girls missing. They came out right away and started searching. The family and the locals were helping the police as well. The search was called off at midnight because in that area there's so many steep places and it's just not safe walking there after dark. The next morning, the police, locals, and the families, they went out searching again. And not long after, they found a shoe. And a few minutes later, they found the bodies of Libby and Abby. The police said it looked like the bodies had been moved and staged, and their clothes was found nearby inside Deer Creek. When they moved the bodies, they found Libby's mobile phone under her body. It was like she had been trying to hide it to be found by the police. It was when they checked her phone and looked at all the data, recordings, texts, videos, calls, that they found the recording of the bridge guy, aka Richard Allen. After I checked into this case, I find 3 people of interest, and I know some of them have been cleared by authorities, but I just feel like there's something wrong here. And the people I think that's of very big interest, that's Richard Allen, Ron Logan, and Kagan Klein. Ronald Logan is deceased now, so it would be very hard to do some investigation on him. And I'm sitting here looking at that picture of the bridge guy walking across that bridge. If you look at the picture, you can see his left hand is down and his right hand is up. It looks like his left hand is in the pocket of his jeans, but the right hand is holding something by his hip. If that's the gun or the knife, I don't know. So after investigating and doing a deep dive into this case, I just wanted to share my thoughts, my theories, and my questions with you. As we all know, there's very, very little information in this case, and the police are staying super quiet because this is actually still an ongoing investigation, so that's completely understandable. I know we all have a million questions, but we just don't know the answers because we don't know what happened. And I'm not going to cover the full story today because it's already been done so many times. But I am going to share with you my thoughts and my theories about what I think happened. But remember, it's my theories and my opinions. So you can go do your own research, form your own opinions. All I say is public information. So I think we should just get started from the beginning. If you look at the weather for the 13th of February 2017, it was very warm that day, which is very unusual. It was the 13th of February. It should be mega cold, but it wasn't. And people walking around that day, they were wearing light clothes like you would wear in the spring or autumn. They were just wearing a small sweater. So why was Richard Allen dressed like he was going to Alaska? Like really heavy winter clothes. He was wearing a warm hat. He had a huge scarf on, a very heavy blue jacket, jeans and boots. Is it possible that Richard Allen, he went there early in the morning just waiting for the right time and opportunity? Because we all know that even though it's winter and it's really warm in the afternoon, the mornings, they're usually very, very cold. So that could explain why he was dressed in heavy winter clothes. He was working for CVS, a pharmacy, and I couldn't find their opening hours because there is certain websites that I can't access because I'm not in America. But I'm assuming that a pharmacy would open like 9 or 10 o'clock. So if he was going to the Monon High Bridge that early in the morning, where would he tell Kathy he was going? Did he have the day off? Or was he planning on going to work? Or was he lying to Kathy? I can't help get the feeling that this was planned. Because Richard Allen, he walked by Freedom Bridge, and he actually met 3 juvenile girls. And one of them actually said hi to him, but he completely ignored them. And they said that he was walking with a purpose, like he knew where he was going. He couldn't even explain to the police what they looked like, other than one of them had dark hair. And that tells me that they meant nothing to him. There was even parked cars in that area. He didn't know that as well. He didn't notice anything because he was just focused on where he was going. And that was to the Monon High Bridge. I think he was ready to attack or kidnap them when he stepped on that bridge. And the reason I'm saying that is because, try to look at this picture and look at his hands. His left hand is in his left side pocket in his jeans. But if you look at his right hand, that's placed by his hip, like he's holding something. It could be the handle of his knife or the gun. We don't know. But his arms are definitely not level. His left hand is in his pocket in his jeans, the right hand on his hip, like he's ready to pull a knife or a gun. Try to look closely at that picture. And I can't help thinking, how is it possible that an ordinary family man, 44 years old, married and has a teenage girl, he all of a sudden wakes up one morning and decides to pack a knife and a gun and go out to kidnap or murder 2 teenage girls? I can't help thinking, did he do something similar to this before? Or did he have a partner or partners? I'm still stuck on that feeling that this was planned. And something tells me this is not the first time he did this. Maybe he didn't kill anyone before, but maybe he did something similar, trying to kidnap someone or, I don't know, attack someone. He harassed someone, stalked someone. I don't know, it just seems so weird. Just snapped. And all his neighbors, they know him like this ordinary family man, like a great guy and a good neighbor, and everybody likes him. So, of course, everybody is in shock after this came out. They couldn't believe he would do something like this. And then I'm thinking, was Richard Allen active online? I'm thinking, did he have any dating profiles or any other profiles where he would be texting and talking to young girls? Maybe he was catfishing young girls and they were sending him pictures and videos exactly like they did with Kagan Klein. But eventually it wasn't enough for him to see the pictures, watch the small video clips that he got sent, so he decided to get physical. And I'm saying this because, do you remember the video where Kathy, she sneaks up on him while she's recording? He's sitting inside the car, and as soon as she's standing next to the car, he's like shocked. And he looks really annoyed, like she caught him doing something. But she didn't see what he was doing because he reacted very fast. It was like he got the shock of his life. Did you see his face? Wow, he looked really annoyed. He was not a happy man. That recording of the bridge guy, aka Richard Allen, saying, "Guys, down the hill." I've been stuck on that line, and I have to admit, I thought it was like a sentence that they took out of the recording. "Guys, down that hill, down the hill." But then I've been listening to it a few times, and it sounds like it's clipped together. Like if he was luring the girls, let's say he was a catfish and he lured the girls to the bridge pretending to be someone else, or he met with a partner there to ambush the girls. And imagine that he walks on the bridge and he says to the girls, "Guys, what are you doing up here? Mr. X is waiting for you." And the girl's response is, "Where is he?" "Down the hill." Maybe it doesn't have to be guys down the hill, like ordering them down there. Maybe he was luring them down there. So I'm trying to move outside the box of the guys down the hill, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be the same sentence. We just have to like step out of the box or think outside the box, because I can only speak for myself. I was stuck with that line. I thought it was all of it was in one line. Guys down the hill, like ordering the girls to go down the hill. I could also be completely wrong. Maybe he just pulled the knife that he already had ready with his right hand, or the gun. So he could actually just have pulled the knife or the gun on them and ordered them to go down the hill. We have no idea. I'm just trying to open the possibilities for other theories. So hopefully we're gonna get some answers soon. Then there's the shoe that was found not far from their bodies. Let's say he ordered them down the hill or he lured them down the hill. It doesn't really matter actually. But I think when they started walking down that hill, they realized he had a gun and they knew they were in trouble. Maybe they tried to make a run for it and one of them fell down and lost her shoe. Or if they started running, he could have been chasing after them, because he only had to catch one of them, because he could be holding her and say, "If you don't come back here, I'm gonna kill her." So the other one wouldn't have a choice than to come back. And he could also have tackled her to the ground and she would be trying to fight him off, and then she lost her shoe. I don't know if it was Libby's shoe or it was Abby's shoe, but he definitely regains control of them. And he leads them through the forest 800 meters until they reach private property belonging to Ronald Logan. Maybe his partner or partners were waiting for Richard Allen and the girls to arrive on that property. And they tried to force the girls to get undressed and they refused. So Richard Allen, he pulled out his gun again and he racked it so one of the bullets fell out. And in his adrenaline rush, he didn't notice that bullet. My opinion is, this is so horrible, but I think they forced the girls to get undressed. And when they finally got them to undress, these girls have been terrified. When they finally got them to undress, I think these girls were terrified. And they were holding them at gunpoint. I think they were forcing them to pose for a camera or do similar things while they recorded them and took pictures. And when they were finished with their recordings and the pictures, I can't even think about what happened next. But I think eventually one of them pulled out a knife and said, "We can't let them go because they've seen our faces," and then they killed them. And they took all their clothes. Maybe there was DNA on it, we don't know. But they took all their clothes and threw it in Deer Creek. But that shoe was still on the ground. So that's why it makes me think that they lost the shoe on the way to Ron's property. It could have been she was running. It could be like he tackled her to the ground and she was trying to fight him off and one of the shoes fell off. We don't know. I'm just trying to, like I said, think outside the box. I feel really sick when I think about those girls. I feel like I can't breathe. Just 13 and 14 years old standing in front of a grown man, or grown men, with knives and a gun, forcing them to do things they really don't want to do. I can't even imagine how scared those girls have been. But what they didn't know is that Libby, she was a very, very strong girl and very brave. From my point of view, she is a true hero, because when Richard Allen stepped up on that bridge, she felt something was off about him, and she started recording him on video. And the police says she recorded for 43 seconds. It's only, I believe it's 3 or 4 seconds that's been released to the public to help find this guy. But there's 43 seconds of recording that they're not releasing it because it's too disturbing. I can't help thinking, why did she stop recording? Because if it was Richard Allen that closed the recording, I think he would have taken her phone. But he didn't. So Libby must have stopped recording. And she actually managed to hide her iPhone under her body. So maybe she did that on purpose. So when the police found them, that she would have the evidence of who did this. I can't believe she had the courage to do that. That is, I don't even think I could do that. I think I would be so terrified. And I'm the kind of person, when I go into like a full panic mode, I freeze. I can't move. My brain is telling me to do a lot of things, but my body is not reacting. So when I read that Libby did this, she recorded him. That's amazing. She's amazing. Can you imagine if she didn't make this recording, we might never ever have found out who did this. It's because of Libby's recording that an arrest was made. I feel really proud of her, and wow, what a strong girl and very brave.
Today is not a day to celebrate, but the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi on 2 counts of murder is sure a major step in leading to the conclusion of this long-term and complex investigation.
After everything was over and Richard Allen left the scene, he was seen by a witness walking on the 300 North Highway. And she said he was so muddy and it looked like he had been in a fight. And the police checked the video camera from the, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, from the Hosier store. They had video surveillance of the road and cars could be seen coming and going. Something they checked the camera and they saw this woman drive by on camera. Then I'm thinking, if they can see the cars driving back and forth on that highway, why didn't they see Richard Allen? If you can see both lanes and you can see the cars going back and forth in both directions, then Richard Allen should be on that recording as well. Maybe he is, and the police are just staying quiet because they didn't say anything. And what did he do when he got to his car? Did he change his clothes, or did he just get in the car? Then his car would have been a mess, unless he brought some plastic or something to cover his seats. We don't know that either. And was he in shock about what happened, or what's going on with that? You just killed 2 teenagers and you're just walking out in the open on a highway towards your car. You have no idea. The police could pull up on you any second and say, what happened to you? He was just walking along the highway like it was a regular day on a hike or something. I think it's really strange. when you commit a crime this horrible and horrific, wouldn't you think it would have a huge impact on you mentally? I would say it would change a person, and they would be on the edge all the time, being extremely stressed and very paranoid of getting caught. But it seems like when Richard Allen came home, he just cleaned his boots, washed his clothes and his jacket, and put the gun and the knife back where he got it from. And the reason I'm saying that is because when the police went to search his house, they found the blue jacket and they found his handgun. And I could see on the court documents, they also found boots. So that makes me assume that he just washed everything and just put it back in the wardrobe. What the... And when he came home, it would have been about 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock. Was Kathy home? Did she see him in this state? And if so, what did he tell her? And how was he acting that day when she came home? If she wasn't home when he came home, then she would have come home after. Did she notice any changes in him? Because this was all over the news. So I'm thinking, I don't know, he must have been stressed and paranoid and jumpy, yeah? Am I wrong? I don't know. In my opinion, it doesn't seem like Kathy noticed any changes, because when you see pictures of her and Richard the following years and videos, they look extremely happy. Or at least she does. I think a lot of times he's very serious on pictures. He almost never smiles. He looks like a very serious guy. And then again, we've seen videos where he's jumping around, acting crazy, yeah? But I'm just thinking, it seems like she didn't notice anything, because on the pictures and the videos that I've seen, they looked happy, and she looked extremely happy. But she's always happy. She always looks happy. So maybe she didn't notice anything. But in reality, we have no idea what was going on in her mind. Maybe she did notice something and she just ignored it, because normally, if your partner is acting weird or acting strange, you would be thinking something like, did he make a bad investment and he lost? Did he have stress at his work? Did he get fired? Are we in financial trouble? Did he have an affair? Did he find another woman, if you want to go there? I think the last thing you would think of would be like, why is he acting so weird? Why is he so strange? Oh my God, I think he kidnapped someone and he killed them. Would you be thinking like that of your partner? I don't think so. But we don't know what was going through her mind. Richard Allen was eventually arrested for the murder of Libby and Abby. And he was actually doing okay in prison. And one day he woke up and he decided that he was going to call his wife and confess to the murders. He confessed to her, was it 5 or 6 times? And she abruptly hung up on him. She didn't have any questions. She didn't demand any explanation. She just hung up the phone on him. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, you know what? I completely understand you. She must have been shocked, heartbroken, scared, and confused. I completely understand she hung up the phone. Can you imagine your partner calling you, admitting to killing someone? And 2 teenage girls. They have a teenage girl themselves. So of course she would have been upset. And then again I was thinking, did she hang up on him because she was hurt, confused, angry, heartbroken? Or did she hang up on him because she knew that the phone calls made from a prison, they're being recorded by the police, and she didn't want Richard to say another word because all you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So maybe she hung up on him to make him shut up and say no more. Because 2 months after his confession to her, he had a hearing. And guess who showed up? Kathy. She came to his hearing 2 months after, and when she saw him, she started crying. So, is she still supporting him, knowing that he murdered 2 teenage girls? I am actually leaning a bit on she hung up on him to make him shut up and don't say another word. I think she's still supporting him. I know they've been married since they were 19 years old, but I can guarantee you, if I had been married, I don't care if it was 50 years, if my husband got arrested for killing children and he told me that he had killed 2 teenage girls, I can guarantee you we had nothing more to talk about. I would want that man out of my life, and as soon as possible, because if he's capable of killing other people, am I safe? Is my daughter safe? So, I don't know. I know everybody, they react differently, and not everyone's reacting like I would. But I wouldn't support my husband if I knew he had murdered 2 teenage girls. Definitely not. But that's just my thoughts on that confession to his wife. So I think I got everything covered of my questions, my theories, and my opinions about Richard Allen. Now I want to talk to you about Ron Logan. His name is Ronald Logan, but he goes by Ron. So Ron Logan, I know a lot of you are saying he was cleared by the police. He is not a suspect. He had nothing to do with this. He is a shiny little angel, and just drop it because he's not involved. Really. I'm really sorry to say this, but I'm not sure about that. Let me explain why. I even saw people get really, really angry and defending him and say he's a poor old man. How dare you accuse him of anything? And he was actually really upset and so on. And I get that. I get that. He was an old man. And he was cleared by the police. Actually, I don't know if he was cleared, but he was never charged with anything in the case. And now he passed away. I know you all have your opinions of Ron Logan, and that's completely fine. You're entitled to your opinions. But so am I. And I can't say Ron is clear, he's not a suspect, because I don't believe that. The reason I'm saying this is because, first of all, Ron Logan was known to be violent towards women. He had punched women in the face and knocked them to the floor. He was not very nice to his girlfriends. And second of all, Ron Logan had just spent 4 years in prison for traffic violations. He was caught 4 times drunk driving. So he was put on probation, had his license taken away from him, and he was forbidden? He was not allowed to drive his truck. The 13th of February 2017, the same day the girls went missing, Ron drove his white truck to the transfer station to get rid of some trash. The police checked the cameras in the transfer station, and Ron was seen there between 11:30 and 12 o'clock that morning. So he drove to the transfer station and drove back home, even though he wasn't allowed to drive. But there was no problems. He made it there and he made it home. Moving forward to the 14th of February 2017, in the morning, before the bodies were even found, he calls his cousin and asks him to lie for him and provide him with an alibi for the 13th of February, where the girls went missing. And it was not an alibi for the transfer station between 11:30 and 12. No. He was asking for an alibi between, I think it was 11 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And this was not any other day. It was the exact same day that the girls was kidnapped and murdered. And the cousin admitted this to the police. And he found it very strange that he had been driving his truck before on probation. But he never asked him to lie for him before, and he never asked him to provide him with an alibi. But the day Abby and Libby go missing, he needs an alibi that puts him out of the city while they are being kidnapped. But his phone was checked, and his phone pinged to a mobile tower that puts him in the area of the crime. He was home. He was not out of the city. So why would he lie? Why would he need an alibi? Why would he need an alibi in the exact time frame where the girls went missing? It doesn't make sense. The bodies were not even found before he called his cousin and asked him to lie for him and provide him with an alibi. Even the police said it shows that he knew a crime had been committed, and he was covering his with an alibi. So he lied to the police about his whereabouts. That makes me think he knew about this. If he wasn't part of this or killed the girls, he definitely knows who did. Do you think it's just a coincidence that he asked for an alibi that day and that time? I don't think so. So that was 2 suspects, in my opinion. The last one is, of course, Kegan Kline. He was a catfish. He was grooming underage girls online, and when they searched his house, they found about 100 sexual pictures of girls posing in different positions. And they found 20 sexual videos sent to him by underage girls. Because Kegan Kline had made a fake profile on Instagram and Snapchat where he had taken a picture from a top model and putting that as his profile picture. So the girls, they thought they were texting with a supermodel and sending flirtatious texts, pictures, videos to this guy, when in fact it was this guy. And that's why I mentioned that I think the girls were held at gunpoint, being forced to take their clothes off. The police said that they suspect that they took pictures of the girls or recorded them. And that's why I say I think they were held at gunpoint, forced to undress, posing in front of a camera or something similar, while they were being recorded or someone took pictures. And who is known for doing that? Kegan Kline. And he had been in contact with Libby. He was actually texting with her the same day the girls went missing. And he's actually also said he was supposed to meet her, but she didn't show up. Coincidence? I don't think so. So that's why I suspect Richard Allen, he completely matches that bridge guy. He had the hat, he had the jacket, he has the jeans and the boots. He had the walk, he had the talk, he had everything. He matches the bridge guy. Ron Logan, violent towards women, lied to the police about where he was when the girls went missing, creating false alibis to place him out of the city while the girls are being kidnapped. Stinks. It stinks big time. And then Kegan Kline, the perv, who was grooming underage girls. 3 suspects. I really truly believe these 3 guys, they knew each other. Maybe they're in some kind of crime ring. Like, I don't know, trafficking. It can be anything. But I definitely think these 3 guys, they knew each other. And I know you can say, maybe Ron lied because he was scared of going back to prison because he violated his probation. I get that. I really do. But his own cousin said that he knew he had been driving his truck all along. He never asked him to lie for him before. He never asked him to create an alibi before. He only did that the day that the girls went missing. You don't find that strange? I'm not saying anything. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Thank God for that. I'm really interested in hearing what you have to say about this. What do you think happened? Unfortunately, we are not going to get any answers until January because Richard Allen actually asked the judge to put cameras in the courtroom. Why would he do that? I have no idea. Attention? He's been pretty private so far, so all of a sudden he wants cameras in the courtroom. Interesting. So we just have to wait for January to get our answers. And it's not even sure we're going to get answers to all our questions. But most of all, I want the family's questions answered. And I want justice for the girls. Which reminds me, there was accusations made by Richard Allen and the other inmates in the prison that it's being said that Richard Allen is being harassed in prison. He is being threatened and harassed by the inmates and the guards. People are telling him to kill himself. People are calling him a kid killer. They're calling him all hours a day on his tablet. They're telling him he's got family visits, but there's nobody there. It's like mental torture. And that actually pisses me off because you see what he looks like now, yeah? He lost about 15, 20 kilos. Why do you think that happened? Because he's drained mentally. They're pushing him too hard. And don't get me wrong, it's not because I don't think he deserves it. My problem with it is, when this goes to trial, he's getting checked mentally by doctors all the time. If this keeps going, they can go for the insanity plea, and his sentence could actually be lower than it normally would have been because he claims to be insane. and he would have the doctors to prove it, because he's being tortured mentally in prison. So that would mean if he get a lighter sentence because of that, so it's gonna be the guards and the other inmates' fault that he's gonna get a lighter sentence because of their mental torture. I want justice for those girls. So that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there. Until the next one, take care and stay safe. Bye.